Hello, my name is William Ridings. I am a bankruptcy attorney in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, I want to do this video on why bankruptcy is almost never the answer, according to Dave Ramsey's Tough Truth. Most of you have heard of Dave Ramsey. He has a podcast, and he had a question from a guy named Warren in Washington, D.C., who says, I have a large amount of debt. Wouldn't it be better to file for bankruptcy to have a fresh start and then build wealth instead of taking years to pay off debt and then start to build wealth? When is bankruptcy a good option? We would say in the very, very, very rare case is bankruptcy an option, because most of the time it is a you problem, and bankruptcy doesn't solve a you problem. It may wipe debts away, not your student loans, and then it's on your record for a while. But the problem is usually when it comes to money, it's us, it's the person handling it. And so, while in one sense it could sound like an easy exchange, I'll take bankruptcy for the no debt. It doesn't change the pattern of what caused you to get in there in the first place. And most time we find people can get out of debt. I mean, rare. I mean, it's only been a handful of times on this show that you've ever entertained the idea of giving someone advice for bankruptcy. Yeah, I don't tell people to file bankruptcy, and I don't tell people to file divorce, with the exception of a situation where the wife is a punching bag because her husband's scum, in that case, file divorce, get out of there, he's scum. But for other than that, I don't tell people to do stuff like this. I don't make decisions like that for you on this show. I will tell you that you should file bankruptcy about as often as you should file for a divorce. We've been through a rough patch this summer, and you don't go file for a divorce. You work it out. You sit down with a marriage counselor and you sit down with your pastor. You read a marriage book or six, and you work on it and you learn how to do it and you fix it. And the same thing's true with your money. Now, that's from a guy who did file bankruptcy, but we fought 2.5 years to keep from filing bankruptcy. They were down to, we've been sued 78 times before we filed bankruptcy. They were coming to take the furniture out of the house, and Rachel was 2 months old, and I decided they're not taking the baby bed. I fought this for 2.5 years. I've sold everything we owned. I've done everything we could to do, took it all the way to the bottom, and then we filed for bankruptcy in September of 1988. And that's what started this whole Ramsey movement. By the way, was my stupidity. And I fought it all the way to the bottom. I know now things that I didn't know then that I could have done further. There's some techniques I could have used, some dance steps, dance moves I could have used to delay it even further, and I might have made it through if I'm knowing what I know now. But I didn't know. I was out of gas, and yours was all real estate, not beat out. Yeah, it was all real estate. It wasn't consumer. I have any consumer debt hardly at all. I borrowed on the cars to buy houses, so I didn't have car payments, but I had car payments. But anyway, all that aside, Warren, you're not bankrupt. Your bankruptcy is not a technique for building wealth. It's like life insurance. It's not a technique for building an estate. You don't buy life insurance to leave your children something, because that doesn't work. It leaves the insurance company stuff is what it does. So no, you're not bankrupt. You need to take the years to pay off the debt. As a matter of fact, you need to take months instead of years, because you get 6 jobs. And the person that you become, Warren, while you fight your way through this, is much more important than any mathematical equation that you're looking at. The toughness and the perseverance that will be required of you to work your way through this is going to make you into the man that will be able to build and manage wealth in the next chapter of your life. But this is not a, I'm just going to dust this off, get out of jail free card kind. Not, it's not, that's childish. And no, you don't use bankruptcy that way. And by the way the bankruptcy laws are written right now, if you've got a big income and this debt's just an inconvenience to you, and you go in, you think you're going to file bankruptcy and wipe out the stuff, the bankruptcy laws are written now where they're going to take you out of that Chapter 7 and put you in a Chapter 13 and make you pay payments. A Chapter 13 is a payment bankruptcy, lasts 5 years, 60 months. There are formulas that the law has in place, the regulations have in place, that force you to do that. There's mathematical tests, and it forces you into paying payments. And so if you have the ability to pay payments and just don't want to, the law doesn't allow you to do that anymore. It's going to smack you upside the head and make you pay payments anyway in bankruptcy. So then you got double dump, you got payments, and you got bankruptcy. So you got absolutely no traction. You got none of your little idea worked. So no, you're not bankrupt. Yes, you need to roll up your sleeves and fight through this. Yes, you need to sell so much stuff the kids think they're next. Yes, you need to work all the time. Yes, you need to get the scissors out and place them across the credit cards and press hard repeatedly. It's called plastic surgery. You need to get out of the debt business. You've got to learn what caused you to get here and then fight your way through. It's what happened to us afterwards. Afterwards, we had to start over. We had to learn what happened. So I'm never back there again. And I'm just going to start fresh. It's not going to work, dude. The law is not going to let you. And you're going to miss out on who Warren would have become. Well, yeah, because you don't change. And that's why we even are cautious when people get a lump sum of money, whether from like an insurance settlement or from what it is when someone passes an estate. No, an insurance, life insurance, inheritance. That's what I was thinking of, inheritance. But when people call and they have a sum of money and they're like, I can go and pay off my debt, we're like, okay, that's great, because yes, we want you debt free and you can use it, but also you have to just be careful in that when there's a sweep of something that happens that comes through, again, you're not changing who you are, and you're the one that got yourself in this position. And so the beauty of the sacrifice through all of that is you change with it. So on the other end, you feel the pain that you've walked through versus having one big sweep that just kind of takes care of everything. So that's always even the word of caution with, yeah, if you're getting an insurance settlement or an inheritance or something like that, just to be cautious that it's still you handling that money. And if you haven't changed, your money situation might not change either. Yeah, I'll go a step further. If you can pay your bills and just refuse to, that's stealing. That's stealing. It's unethical. So that was a Dave Ramsey answer to a question on his podcast. And then people who watched it or listened to it made some comments. So these are very interesting comments. I'm going to read these too. Joshua Williams, 6153. Bankruptcy gave me a second chance. I am now on my way to being a millionaire. Filed in 2015 after getting out of the military and having a hard time finding work. People do absolutely change their habits. Maybe not everyone, but some people do. Zen Life 321 said, I know Ramsey fans will disagree, but bankruptcy was the best choice for me. I went through a divorce, had to start over with half the capital to live on, and a disabled child who needs me 24 hours of daycare. I also used this lesson to fix the me issues. So yes, it was absolutely great for me. I combined my decision with Dave's advice. Then there was J. Mart LW. This is the dumbest advice and it's full of shame. The rich uses bankruptcy all the time as a debt restructuring tool. Don't spend 10 years of your life paying down ridiculous debt to only die early from stress. Talk with someone who knows what they're talking about, like a bankruptcy attorney. Get a legal fresh start if you need to and enjoy your life. Also, you should divorce if you're unhappy. Jeremy K. 1916 replied, 52,000 worth of credit card debt. Tried for years to pay it down. Filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy recently and it's the best decision I've ever made. Life's too short to be chained to these credit card companies. Nike Zygi Polska 48. Bankruptcy is far better than paying off debts and having them on your credit for 7 years. Ask any bankruptcy attorney. Yaya CL3TU. I filed almost 7 years ago, and it was one of the best decisions. I fully recovered, built a house, and have lived responsibly since. I believe in course correcting and hitting the reset button when needed. Life is too short to not forgive yourself and move on. Zennial Guy. Bankruptcy is a legal option that should be considered when you are so far in debt that you cannot easily get out in less than 7 years. Some of these people that call in with $250,000 in consumer debt, only making $60,000 a year, are prime candidates. Since credit doesn't matter on this channel, why would it be so wrong to take the legal option that is lawful, especially considering Dave Ramsey did it himself? People today still don't have access to all the same resources Dave did, and he still felt he needed to file. El Chavs. Don't spend 15 plus years of your life slaving to make minimum payments while they make 5 times the amount you owe them on those high interest. Dave even said on this video that bankruptcy is what led him to creating his company. He'd probably still be making minimum payments working 2 jobs if he never filed bankruptcy. Travis 3889 replied, Chapter 13 bankruptcy was the best decision I ever made. Just got discharged after 5 years. 779 credit score, wiped out 155,000 in consumer, and now debt free. Sophia James 9H. I think investors should always put their cash to work, especially in 2024. We'll start to see more market diversification. I'm hoping to invest about $350,000 of my savings in stocks again next year. Hope to make millions in 2024. Elmer here. If all you have is consumer debt, you make less than the median income in your area, and you don't see yourself paying it off in 5 years with an aggressive budget, I would file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I will get rid of all that debt, fresh start, and follow all of his advice from there. Darkbeat2359. Remember, folks, individuals taking advantage of capitalism, bad; corporations abusing capitalism, good. Casey by Case 7750. This guy seems like a narcissist. He literally stated that he filed for bankruptcy, and yet he castigates and scolds others who could possibly have the unmitigated gall to file bankruptcy for reasons that doesn't appear to be as critical as his. Insane. Saturday in the fall. These people are complete jokes. I filed bankruptcy 5 months ago because I did what Dave said, ignored all the creditors, threatening lawsuits. You know what happened? They garnished my paychecks. Once I paid the filing fees, my life changed for the better. A true weight lifted. 5 months later, I'm getting approved for new credit cards to help reestablish a positive credit rating to help get approved for a house 2 years from now. Steel Castle 5616. Interesting, Rachel starts off by saying bankruptcy is not a good solution to avoiding debt. Then Dave discusses how his bankruptcy and his stupidity was the basis for starting Ramsey Solutions, a very successful company. Jeremy Griffith, 4489. This guy filed bankruptcy twice, but it's going to tell you not to do it. Skeet 4291. This was absolutely the worst advice I've ever heard and is totally incorrect. The man literally said he lost everything before he filed bankruptcy anyway. I personally filed bankruptcy in 2012 and it was the best experience of my life. My debt was cleared, I kept all my possessions and got a fresh start. Unlike them, I learned from the mistake and today have 3 credit cards, a home and truck, car, savings, etc. My credit score hovers between 790 and 805 as I type. Don't go through excruciating hard times before you file. Inversely Complicated wrote, yes, bankruptcy is easier, which is why Dave Ramsey did it himself. Gloria LX11 wrote, kind of hilarious that Rachel blanked out on the word inheritance while looking right at the source. Brittany Johnson, 8942, wrote, file bankruptcy and it was the best decision ever. 720 credit score. AI Science FI wrote, when wealthy individuals or corporations file for bankruptcy, it is often seen as a strategic financial move, part of business, risk management, or even a fresh start. The legal system and media often frame it in neutral or even positive terms, emphasizing restructuring, protecting assets, or taking advantage of legal loopholes. However, when a poor working class person files for bankruptcy, they may be judged harshly, seen as irresponsible, or accused of failing to manage their money properly. This double standard exists because wealth is often associated with intelligence and financial acumen, while poverty is wrongly blamed on personal failings rather than systematic inequalities. In reality, bankruptcy laws exist for everyone, and financial hardship can happen to anyone due to medical emergencies, loss of job, or economic downturns. The difference in perception is a reflection of societal biases rather than the actual ethics of financial survival. Don't be a slave to the bank's credit card companies. USA 11227 wrote, if people chose bankruptcy, Dave Ramsey is out of business. Roman Blount wrote, so to sum up the answer, filing theoretically works from a math perspective, but Dave's advice is not to in order to build character and integrity or something like that. Johnny Wilco wrote, you fight until you can't fight anymore, then file the damn thing. It's not the end of the world. You'll recover much faster and better on the other side if you truly are bankrupt. Many are not and still file. That's what Dave is speaking about. Plus, sadly, if you don't address the pattern of what got you there in the first place, you'll find yourself needing to file bankruptcy again. Also, Dave fails to mention the best and most powerful aspect of bankruptcy, the automatic stay. MSC Dramatic wrote, best decision I ever made. Andrew Snyder, 9262, wrote, do we expect dead corporations to pay back their debts? Why do we treat individuals any different when rule of law says that a business or entity is treated as an individual? Our system is designed to throw debt away. Leave the morals out of it. This is law and math. Investor-friendly probate RIA 4309. Yeah, just got discharged last Friday. I'm better with my money now by going through the process and won't ever get back in debt because I am now following the Dave Ramsey baby steps. But for me, it was the best option and have no regrets. And finally, no, got a few more. Iomas 2001 wrote, bankruptcy means nothing anymore. I had loads of medical debt I could not pay. I went bankrupt and 4 years later got a mortgage. Literally after the first year of bankruptcy, you can easily get a credit card and build your credit back up. If I didn't go through bankruptcy, I'd still be paying the medical debt and possibly homeless. Joshua Williams. No, I think that was the first one. I think that was the last one. All right, that's it. God bless.